Rose's best friend, in an effort to help her and her boyfriend David, hit a home run, arranged a hotel room for them and got Rose drunk. In her drunken state, however, when she woke up the next morning, she discovered that the man she slept with was not her boyfriend but a stranger named Jack. Jack assumed Rose had drugged him on purpose and threw a $5 million check at her to dismiss her. Rose angrily accused him of being a scoundrel. As they argued, the elevator doors opened, and Jack quickly pulled Rose into his arms. It turned out that Jack didn't want his client, who had just arrived, to know about his one-night stand. However, rumors about the two spread rapidly across the media, throwing Jack into a massive public relations crisis. Vowing revenge on Rose, Jack soon ran into her again. Jack promptly fired Rose. But as fate would have it, Rose ended up saving an elderly woman who fainted in the elevator. Unbeknownst to Rose, this woman was Jack's grandmother. The grandmother demanded Jack marry Rose to resolve the crisis. Recently fired by Jack, Rose was shocked when he proposed to her moments later. To help her boyfriend David pay off his loan shark debts, Rose reluctantly agreed to the marriage. Jack insisted Rose wear a dress he had chosen to meet his grandmother, but Rose complained the dress was too tight around the chest. Jack confidently declared his memory had always been excellent, making Rose recall their absurd night together and immediately become nervous. When they arrived home, Rose realized Jack's grandmother was the woman she had rescued at the elevator. The two hit it off instantly. During dinner, Jack and Rose pretended to be a loving couple while secretly competing with one another. Jack's grandmother thought they were a perfect match and suggested they live together, shocking them both. To give them more privacy, Jack's grandmother embarked on a year-long world tour, leaving behind instructions for them to give her a great-grandchild soon. She even set up a nightly check-in system in the bedroom, requiring the couple to clock in together every night. To top it off, she thoughtfully prepared sexy lingerie for Rose. Embarrassed, Jack avoided eye contact, but Rose teased him until he punished her by making her sleep on the floor. However, while Jack was in the bathroom, Rose sneakily took over his bed and jokingly suggested they adopt a child to fulfill his grandmother's mission. Furious, Jack pulled off the blanket, threatening, "It's easier if we just make one ourselves." Frightened, Rose begged for mercy, joking that her bad genetics might produce an unintelligent child. Amid their struggle, they accidentally activated a switch, causing the bed to vibrate uncontrollably. During a remote meeting, Jack was sternly reprimanding his team when Rose interrupted him by asking for a towel. The usually composed boss suddenly found himself flustered. To make matters worse, Rose appeared behind him during the video call, complaining about how he kept her up all night. Embarrassed, Jack abruptly ended the meeting, while his subordinates smirked knowingly. Following his grandmother's plan, the couple soon held an engagement party. Although they appeared deeply in love, they secretly criticized each other. When forced to kiss in front of the guests, Rose's best friend noticed and jealously revealed that she had accidentally switched room keys that fateful night. Overhearing this, Jack immediately fired her. This revelation made Jack and Rose realize they were both victims of circumstance, and they apologized to each other. However, Rose's boyfriend David, upon hearing about her engagement, blackmailed Jack for a large sum of hush money. Enraged, Rose slapped David and, with Jack's support, drove him away. Jack found Rose crying in a corner and took her out for a feast. The food and alcohol lifted her spirits, but the drunk Rose mistook Jack for her ex-boyfriend and scolded him. Jack was initially furious but softened when he saw her vulnerable side. Unable to resist, he gently touched her face, only to have her bite him hard. Furious, Jack scooped her up and put her to bed but couldn't help but admire her features. To his surprise, Rose began acting out again, pulling open his bathrobe and bursting into laughter upon seeing his crayon Shinchan underwear. She then threw herself on him, kissing him passionately. The next morning, Jack added a clause to their agreement: no drinking allowed. He even showed Rose a video of her drunken antics from the previous night. When Rose stayed up all night working on a project, Jack's assistant maliciously deleted it, leading their boss to accuse her of laziness. On the verge of collapse, Rose was caught by Jack, who immediately realized the assistant's misdeed and reassigned her. He then appointed Rose as his new assistant. Envious interns tried to seduce Jack, but Rose stepped in and shoved him into a chair to save him. This bold move left Jack unexpectedly attracted to her, and he began paying closer attention to her actions. One client, Steve, hit it off with Rose and asked if she had ever been to his hometown. Rose denied it, but their warm conversation was interrupted by Jack, who jealously staked his claim on her. Rose teased Jack by saying Steve was more handsome, except when it came to bonus distributions. In response, Jack handed her a generous red envelope, prompting Rose to shamelessly flatter him. A famous actress, Amy lowered herself to work with Jack and openly flirted with him during a press conference. She even taunted Rose by asking her to take photos of them together. Jack, however, pulled Rose to his side, declaring her to be his fiancée. Amy incited her fans to attack Rose, claiming Jack and Amy were a better match. Pretending to apologize, Amy offered to coach Rose on how to win Jack's heart, even sharing his preferences. Jack handled the public relations fallout and scolded Rose for not informing him sooner. Frustrated, Rose muttered that she wasn't his real fiancée, which enraged Jack. However, Jack's anger quickly turned into stomach pain after eating a cake Rose offered him, forgetting he was lactose intolerant. Meanwhile, Amy looked at an old photo of two men, Jack and herself, back when she was still male. Years ago, Jack had saved her from bullying, inspiring her to undergo gender transition in hopes of being with him. The next day, Amy brought Jack stomach-soothing porridge and held his hand, only for Rose to walk in on them. Jack rejected Amy's advances and drank the porridge Rose had made for him instead. Following Amy's advice, Rose began seeking Jack's attention but accidentally broke his crystal ornament. Jack exploded with anger, only for Amy to offer to repair it. That night, Jack secretly entered Rose's room and apologized to her as she slept. To thank Amy, Jack invited her to dinner at his house and exaggerated his affection for Rose, hoping Amy would back off. However, Amy's familiarity with Jack surprised both him and Rose, making Rose feel inadequate. Upset, she left the table. Realizing Rose was jealous, Jack spent time showing her his personal side. Together, they looked through his photo albums, and Rose discovered that Amy resembled one of Jack's high school friends. Steve later invited Rose to dinner, asking if she had any siblings. Their conversation was interrupted by Jack, who angrily chastised her for spending his birthday with another man, leaving Rose guilty. To make amends, Rose enacted a 24-hour fiancé routine, preparing Jack breakfast and helping him dress. Jack even demanded she act coquettish in front of his employees, delighting him when she reluctantly complied. Rose's parents announced their divorce, and her mother temporarily moved in with her. To ease the financial burden, Jack bought her mother a dry cleaning business. However, Jack was soon caught up in another scandal with Amy. The couple fought bitterly, unaware that Amy had used information about Rose's mysterious background to lure Jack away and take incriminating photos. To protect Rose, Jack kept everything secret, but Rose left his house in anger. It turned out that Steve also knew about Rose's background. She resembled his deceased ex-girlfriend, and he discovered she was actually her younger sister. Steve resolved to make amends to Rose. Jack exposed Amy's schemes, confronting her for her reckless decision to undergo a gender transition out of impulse. He confessed that Rose was the one he truly loved. Amy publicly apologized, admitting her misunderstanding. Just as Rose was about to reconcile with Jack, she was intercepted by a man in black. It was Jack. Paparazzi spotted them, but Jack grabbed her hand, whisked her away, and proposed on one knee. The two embraced in bliss.